Okay, so slope, another word for it is rate of change. And then the variable that we use to represent it is m. And then it can also be referred to as rise over run, the change in y over the change in x, or y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Any questions so far?
No.
Okay, and then there's positive slope and then there's a negative slope. So if your line, if you're looking at it going from left to right, if it goes up, right, if you move from here to here, it's going up, it's increasing. That means the slope of our line is positive. So it has a positive slope. So we can tell just by looking at a line if the slope's positive or if it's going to be negative. If the line goes down, when you look at it from left to right, so from here to here, it's going down, that tells us that our slope is negative. And how do we calculate the rise over the run? Do you guys remember slope triangles? So when you make a 90-degree angle with 2 points, the distance up, that up or down is the rise, and the distance left and right is the run. Okay, so now we're going to get into what you're going to be doing on your assignment. So how to find the slope from a line. So first, we're going to have to sketch our own graph. Of course, on your assignments, they'll be given to you. So go ahead and do 4 boxes and 4 boxes. So we have our x-axis, we have our y-axis, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you're going to plot a point at 1, 1 and at 4, 3. And then sketch your line. Okay, so the first step is you're going to write slope on the line to determine if the slope is positive or negative.
Can you slow down a little bit?
Yes. Perfect. Just like Dakota did, let me know if I'm going too fast or too slow. So I'll give you a minute to get caught up. Okay, so then we would write slope. So you always write from left to right. So when you write it, which way is our line, which way are our words going, our letters going? They're going up. That means it's a positive slope. So we know that m equals, it's going to be a positive number. Now we don't have to worry about the signs. If our line's going up, it's positive. If it's going down, it's negative. We know that our slope is positive just by doing that. Then we're going to pick 2 points and draw a slope triangle. Okay, so the points you pick, you want them to be right on the corners. If it's not a good point because we don't know what it's going to be a decimal. So we have to find the ones that have whole numbers, which were these two that we plotted out. 1, 1, because those are x and y are whole numbers, and 4, 3, because x and y are whole numbers. Okay, and then you're going to start at the bottom one and you're going to draw a line all the way up until it would hit your other point to form a 90-degree angle. So your slope triangle has to create this 90-degree right angle. Once you do that, you count the boxes to determine the rise and run. So when you think of rise, usually things going up, right? And so it's the same. This is going to be our rise right here, which is you just count the boxes. So we're going up 1 box and up another box. So our rise is 2. And so the rise goes at the top. So we know our slope is a positive 2 over whatever our run is. So our run, remember we said, is the left to right movement. And so it goes over 1 box, 2 boxes, 3 boxes. So the run is 3. And so now we just wrote our slope, which is 2 over 3. The last step is just write the slope, which we already did. Any questions so far? And you can put it in the comment box too. I'll leave that there for a second. And then if you're done with the notes, go ahead and open up your workbook to the Unit 3 tab. And then it is the Finding Slope from a Graph assignment. Anyone still need the notes up?
Yes, I do. Okay, I'm done.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so finding slope from a graph. So just a couple things from our notes that might be helpful to put on our page. So if the line's going up, it's a positive slope. The line's going down, we know it's a negative slope. And then we know that the slope equals the rise over the run. And so this assignment's nice because it already gave us the 2 nice points. So all we have to do is draw our slope triangle. So remember, you have to form a right triangle with those 2 points. Any questions so far? Okay, so I kind of jumped the gun. So let's go through our notes. So the first step is to write slope on the line to determine if the slope is positive or negative. So we write slope on the line. When you're writing it, you see it's going down. So we know that our slope is a negative something. So that was step 1. Then step 2 is to pick 2 points and draw our slope triangle. So we picked 2 points. They gave us 2 points. And so then we have to draw our right triangle. And then step 3 is to count the boxes to determine the rise and the run. So the rise, remember, it's how much we go up and down. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So our rise is 4, which goes on the top of our fraction. And then our run, we only go over 1. So the slope is -4 over 1, which simplifies to -4. Any questions on number 1?
No.
No? Okay.
No.
Good. So let's do number 2. So again, we want to write slope on our line. So is it a positive or a negative slope? Well, it's going up. That is our positive slope. You know, it's a positive. Step 2, we pick 2 points and draw our slope triangle. They gave us 2 points, so we just form our right triangle between those 2 points. Then we count the boxes to determine the rise and the run. So we go up 1,
Dakota,
2, 3, 4.
Dakota said her computer restarted, so can you wait for her?
Oh, okay. Can she just come with you, Solomon? Are you guys at the same place?
Yes. I think she's coming on right now. It says yes, connecting her.
Oh, okay.
She says she's waiting for you to let her in.
Okay. Are you good, Dakota? Can you see and everything?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Yes.
Okay.
Like I said.
All right, so our rise, we went up 6 boxes. So that goes at the top. And then our run, we have to count the boxes left to right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So our slope is 6/5. Any questions on number 2?
No, this is easier than I thought it would be.
See? Yes. Okay, so why don't you do number 3 for me then, Solomon?
Okay. So, yeah, make your right triangle.
Perfect.
and then you have to write slope, see if it's going up, and it's going up.
Yep, very good.
And
So we
then
know
you have
it's
to
Mhm.
count your lines to
Yep,
see what the slope is. So it'll be 1, 2.
excellent. Is our rise good? And how many is our run?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Excellent. Yep, very good. So number 4, if we write slope, that tells us this one's a negative slope. And then we draw a right triangle. We're going down 1, 2, and we're going over 1, 2, 3. So it's negative 2/3. Questions on number 4?
No.
Okay. Is number 5 a positive or a negative slope?
Negative.
Very good. And then we draw our slope triangle. And let's count. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going down 6 and over 1, 2, 3, 4. Negative 6/4.
Would you still get the answer wrong if you just did the line instead of like you did like little skip thingies, like the dotted lines? Can you just write the whole thing?
What do you mean? I'm sorry, I'm
Like,
not quite understanding your question.
can you put a straight line instead of a dotted line, or would that still be wrong?
Oh, if you do a solid line?
Yes.
Oh yeah, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
However you want to do it. So then number 6, we write slope on our line. We see that it's going down again. So it's a negative slope. We draw our triangle. We count our rise first, which is just 1. And then our run, we go over 1, 2, 3, 4. So this slope is negative 1/4. Number 7, if we write slope, it's going up. So it's positive. And then we count the boxes. So Dakota, you're seeing this. So I could do a solid line like this, and it doesn't matter.
Okay. I thought it would be wrong if I just did a solid line.
Nope. So, and then we just count the boxes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're going up 7, and we're going over 1, 2, 3. So our slope is 7/3. Again, we write slope, it's going up, so we know it's a positive slope. And we're going up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're going over 1. So 5/1. So always make sure to do the rise on the top. So how much you go up or down, that's the top number. And then the run, how much you go side to side, is the bottom number. And 5 divided by 1 is just 5. Are you guys all feeling comfortable? Amari and Dakota, I know Solomon feels really confident. Are you guys pretty confident, or do you want to do more of these together?
I think I got it.
Okay. You're good too, Amari? Yeah. Okay, perfect. So then we'll move on to the next one. So let's jump back into the notebook, your notes packet. And we're gonna write equations from graphs. Okay, so for our notes, we have to draw our graph ourselves. But of course, on your assignment, you'll be given the actual graph. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines, and then I'll do 5 again here. So this is our x-axis, this is our y-axis. Label them 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then the line that I'm giving you is going to be 1 point is at 0, 3. So plot a point there. And the other point is at 4, 1. Plot the other point there, and then go ahead and draw your line. Okay, so this is what you're going to see on your assignment today. They're going to give you a graph and it's going to have a line on it, and you're going to have to write the equation of that line. So we're going to be writing the equations in slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. So you need 2 things to write the equation of a line in slope-intercept form. The slope, and that's why we call it slope-intercept form, because we need the slope, and then we need the y-intercept. And the y-intercept, that's where the line crosses the y-axis. So we already know how to find the slope. That's what we just did. Now I'm just going to show you how to find the y-intercept, and then we just plug it in here. So pretty simple. You guys ready for me to move on?
No, 1 second.
Okay.
Okay, you can go ahead.
Okay. So first, we need to find the slope. Which we just did. So remember, m equals the rise over the run. And so the steps you have on your previous notes. So we won't write all of it. So we'll just remember. So we write slope on the line. Which way slope going? Slope's going down. So I know that my slope is negative. Good, Dakota. And then I draw my triangle. So I go down 1, 2, 3. Sorry, I'm going down. So let's draw our triangle first. There's our right triangle. So we went down how many? 1, 2. And then, so that's our rise is 2. And then we go over 1,
4.
2, 3, 4. Excellent. So it's negative 2 over 4. And if we can simplify, we will. So negative 2 over 4 simplifies to negative 1/2. Okay, which you guys were excellent at. So then the next thing we need to do.
When you simplify, you're just dividing it, right?
Yes,
okay.
Exactly. What color do I want to use? I guess I'll use blue. Okay. The next thing is you need to find the y-intercept. So we said the y-intercept is where the line crosses the y-axis. So I'll write that again. So what I want you guys to do is to just highlight the y-axis. If you have a highlighter, then it makes it really easy. So you're just looking at that y-axis and you're saying, where does my line cross it? It crosses right here. And so that point right there, that is your y-intercept. In this case, it crosses at 3. So our y-intercept is just 3. Any questions on how to find the y-intercept?
So when you go to plug it in, you'll do, how would you plug it in though?
Okay, so then step 3, good, you're thinking right. So the last step is we're just gonna plug in. So we said our formula is y equals mx plus b. So m is our slope and b is our y-intercept, which we just set ourselves up perfectly to plug it into our equation now. So it's gonna be y equals, what did we say our slope was? We just go back up here.
Negative 1/2.
Right, so we're gonna put in negative 1/2. And then x is a constant, so that's always gonna be there, plus our y-intercept, which we just found, which was 3. So we literally just put in our m, put in our b, and we have our equation. It's y equals negative 1/2 x plus 3.
So with the regular math, it doesn't give us the decimals. I mean, not the decimals, the dots. So do we put them in our own, or is there a certain one you have to do?
For which one?
For like, I'm talking about in the actual book, it doesn't give us like the dots. So would we put our own dots?
Okay,
Or
yes, we will have to put our own dots. So great question. So let's jump over to the assignment. Ask all the right things, good. And so, yeah, we'll have to find the good points. So we want to find the ones that are right in the corners so that they're whole numbers, because otherwise we can't calculate the slope of decimals because we don't know the exact decimal. So it looks like, let me use red maybe so you can see better. It looks like right here is right on the corner. But see how like this point right here is not quite on the corner. So that wouldn't be a good point. This one's not on a corner, not on a corner, not on a corner. So just keep going until that one's pretty close. Don't fall for that. That's not quite on the corner. It's this one right here.
is there a way that you can zoom in? Because I can't really see
Oh,
where you put it at.
yes. Is that better?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so let's write our equation at the top, just to make it easier on us. So we need m and we need b. So m, we know that's our slope, and then we need our y-intercept, which is b. So to find our slope, we need to write slope on the line. Since it's going up, we know it's a positive slope. And then we draw our slope triangle. And then we count our rise and run. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then our run is 1. So our slope is 8/1. Any questions on the slope?
No.
Okay, and then our y-intercept. So I like to just highlight the y-axis. Then we look to see where does our graph cross the y-axis? Right here. And so that is our y-intercept, which is at, that one's 4, which means that one is 5.
So we're just trying to find like the tip of the point.
So you're looking where your line goes through the y-axis. So this whole line right here is the y-axis. So you just move your finger until your graph hits the y-axis, which is right here at the very tip. The other ones will be easier to see, but I think you'll see it more clearly on the next one. This one's kind of hard.
Okay, because I didn't get this one at all.
Okay. So yeah, let's do one more. So then once we have our m and our b, now we can just plug it in. So y equals mx plus b. So y equals our slope, which is 8/1, which we just write as 8, times x, plus our y-intercept, plus our b, which is, since it's positive, it'll be plus 5.
So we never answered the y.
What do you mean we didn't answer the y?
When you put in at the very end, we never answer the y.
Oh yeah, no, it's just the equation of the line.
Okay.
Yeah, you're not solving. Is that what you mean?
Yes.
That's correct. We're not solving. We're just trying to find the equation of the line. Good. Okay, for number 2. So first we need to go through and find nice points. So right on the corners of the boxes. So like this point, that one would work. If you keep going, this one gives us lots of options. Right there, right there, right there, right there. Those are all nice points we can use to calculate our slope.
So we can do our own point this one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So you can pick any of those 2 points to use to draw the triangle. If you do ones right next to each other, you won't have to simplify. If you pick like this one and this one, then you're going to have to simplify it. So I would just pick 2 right next to each other. And when we write slope, we see that our line is negative. So we have a negative slope. Then we count our rise, which is 1, and our run, which is 2. So our slope is -1/2. Okay, and then Dakota, this is where you still have the question, right? On how to find the y-intercept?
Yes.
Okay, so the y-intercept, remember we said is where the graph crosses the y-axis. So this line right here is the y-axis. And so you just have to look to see, here's our line. Well, where does it cross the yellow line? Right here. And so
does it need to be a part of where you pick the where you picked your slope to be at? Because I picked the 2 top ones.
No, it doesn't matter. It's just wherever this line crosses the yellow or the y-axis line.
Okay.
So in this case, it crosses right here at 1. And so our B, which is our y-intercept, is 1. And then we just plug it into our formula. So y equals our slope, which is -1/2. And then x is our constant, plus our y-intercept, which is 1. So if it helps you, Dakota, you could do the y-intercept first. 2. So we can try that on number 3.
So it'll be -2.
Close. Where does it cross this line? You're on the right track.
So do -1.
So you're really close. It looks pretty close to -2, but you got to go down to get it right.
Okay, it's -3.
So it's -3, right?
Okay.
So in this case, B is -3. That is our y-intercept right there. And then we can find our slope. If we go up the line, we got to find another nice corner point, which it looks like is this point, -1, 3. Is the only other point that's on a corner.
I don't think that's a negative. I think that's a regular one.
Oh, right, but the x is -1, so we go over to -1, and then we go up to +3 for y. Okay, and then we'll write slope on our line. We see it's going down, so it's a negative slope. And then we draw our slope triangle, which is our rise is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And our run is 1. So it's -6 over 1, which is just -6. And then we just plug that in. And so y equals -6x minus 3. Any questions on number 3?
No, I think I got what you meant now.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so number 4, let's see. We got to find our points first. Those are all of our nice points. So then we'd write slope on our line. We know that our slope is positive. Create a slope triangle. So our rise is 1, 2. Our run is 1, 2, 3. So our slope is 2 over 3.
And then would it be the B would be the 2 again, right?
Excellent. Yep, that's exactly right, Dakota. Very good. So our slope is 2. Or sorry, our y-intercept is 2. Yes. Exactly. And then our equation is going to be y equals our slope, which is 2/3 times x, plus our y-intercept, which is 2. Solomon and Amari, do you guys have any questions? Are you feeling pretty good about it?
So far, so good.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Okay, let's keep going. So number 5, let's find our nice points. So any of those would work. So we write slope is positive, and then our rise and run. So our rise is 2, our run is 1. So 2 divided by 1 is just 2. And then our B, Dakota, what's our B?
The B is would be 3.
Yes, you got it. Very good. So our y-intercept, or our B, is 3. Then we just plug it in. So y equals m, which is 2 times x, plus our y-intercept, plus b, which is 3. Okay, number 6. Find our points first. And then we'll write slope, which tells us that our line's negative, our slope's negative. Draw a slope triangle. Our rise is 1, 2, 3. Our run is 1, 2. So it's -3 over 2.
Can you skip over a little bit?
Yes, sorry. And then our y-intercept, we have to find where does our line cross our y-axis? At this point right here. That's our y-intercept, which is 3 again. You plug it in, y equals -3 over 2x plus 3. We'll do 7 and 8.
The B point is 2.
Excellent. Very good.
And then can a point be 1 and wait, never mind. I messed up.
So yeah, just pick the corner pieces. Those are on the corner, that point and that point. Those would be our 3 points that we can choose from to use.
So the run would be 2 and the other one would be 1.
You're close. So you're right. The run is 1, or the rise is 1. Count the run again.
3.
Yes, excellent. And
because it is not a full. At first I thought we weren't supposed to count that as 1 because it's not a full square.
so wherever your triangle is, so you got to go all the way to the end where that point is. So you can do those little swirlies. I know some people like to do the swirlies to see. So you can start here, right? It starts here and it ends here. So that would be 1, 2, 3.
No, I got that. I was saying like I didn't know that you had to like because like when you're doing like certain things like I think it's like ratio or something you don't the half circle the half squares you don't count, so I thought you weren't supposed to count the half.
Okay.
I mean, half the if there's
Okay.
half square.
We shouldn't have any half squares. If we're picking the right points, the corner points, that's why we pick the corner point. So it's always whole numbers.
Okay.
So we shouldn't have any half squares. So then you're right. So then our rise was 1. So first, let's do our sign. So our slope's going down, so it'll be negative, and then our rise is 1, and our run is 3. So then our equation is y equals -1/3 x plus 2. So Dakota, what would the y be for this one?
5.
Yes, very good. Excellent. That's it right here. That's the y-intercept. And then our slope, let's see. Let's find our points. So when we write slope, we see that our slope's negative. And then our rise is 1, 2, 3, 4. And our run is 1.
I'm doing some of my assignments early tomorrow, so she could get on my computer.
Okay, so there'll be y equals -4/1 times plus 5.
Yep. Yep. And so you don't have to write the 1 because we know that -4 divided by 1 is just -4. So always try to write it simplified. Like on a test, if it was multiple choice, like the Scantron test, they wouldn't write the 1. So we won't write it either. We'll write it as simplified, which is y equals -4x plus 5. Good. You guys have any questions on writing the equation?
No. So what you're saying is the ones at the bottom, you can just drop it, but if it's one at the top, you need it.
If it's a 1 on the bottom.
Okay.
So, but this one, the 3, -1 divided by 3 is -1 is -1/3. We can't really simplify that, but -4 divided by 1, -4 divided by 1 is just -4. And you know, when you divide anything by 1, it's just itself.
Okay.
Which if you're more comfortable writing the 1, I'll totally accept that. So if you want to keep it, go ahead. If it confuses you to drop it or when not to drop it, just go ahead and leave it as a fraction. That's fine. Just know, like on a test, they'll, like if it's a multiple choice test, it won't be there. So just understand that. Then you just see it that way also. Okay. I know I said we were only going to 11, but I can keep going. I don't have my next meeting's not until 11:30. Do you guys want to do one more? The last one, I was hoping to get through 3 of them.
Yes.
Yes? Okay, awesome. Okay. So, and this one, it all goes together. So now we're going to do the reverse. So now they're going to give us the equation and we have to sketch the graph. So we're going to write linear equations. Let's see, no, we just did that. Now we are going to graph linear equations. So we're going to see something like graph y equals 1/2 x minus 1. And you'll be given a graph. We don't have one in our notes, but on the assignments, you'll be given the graph. So we have our x-axis, we have our y-axis. Okay, do you guys have a graph? Are you guys ready?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is graph the y-intercept. So remember, y equals 1/2 x minus 1. What number in that equation tells us the y-intercept?
Can you repeat that again?
Yeah, which is it, the 1/2 or the -1? Which one tells us the y-intercept?
I don't understand what you meant by that.
Okay, so remember, so what we just did, we were writing them. We were writing the equation, right? And we wrote it in the form y equals mx plus b. So the b, whatever we add or subtract, that's telling us the y-intercept, right? So now we're working, instead of us having to go and find the y-intercept from the graph, we're having to find it from the equation. So in this case, in the equation, y equals mx plus b, the b is our y-intercept, right? So -1 is our y-intercept.
So that means the B is the 1, and then the other one is the 1/4. So basically just trying to find the points, right?
Yeah. So
Okay.
So you're using, remember, y equals mx plus b. So m tells us the slope and b tells us the y-intercept. So in this case, the y-intercept is -1 because our equation tells us that. So we're going to go to the y-axis and we're going to find -1, which is right there, and we're going to plot a point because we know that the graph goes through that point. That's where it crosses the y-axis. Okay, any questions on that first step?
No.
Okay. Step 2 is we're going to use the slope to plot additional points. Okay, so in this case, we said m is 1/2. So first, you want to picture what is this? What does 1/2 look like? Is my line going up or is it going down? So since it's positive, I want you to just draw a little sketch below it. Since it's a positive 1/2, that your line's going up. So then we're going to match that using our rise and our run. So 1 is our rise and 2 is our run. So you're going to start at your y-intercept at that point that you already plotted, and our rise, we're going to rise 1, and then our run is going to be 2. So we have to slide to the left or to the right 2. Well, we said our line's going to look like this, which means I need to go to the right 2. And that's my next point. And then you stay at that point and you can plot another point. So same, our slope is still 1/2. So we're going to rise 1 and we're going to run 2. And then we could also go here and we could go down 1 and go left 2 to add another point. And they should all make a nice straight line. If it doesn't, then you did something wrong. But in this case, we did it correctly because it makes a nice straight line. And then the last step is just a little check for us. So the last step would be to write slope on the line to make sure it graphed correctly.
Dakota got kicked out again. She said, can you let her back in?
Oh my goodness, yes. Sorry, Dakota. So did you see how we graphed the extra points?
No, when I stopped, you had just finished writing the finish writing the point, and then it kicked me out.
Oh, okay. This point.
Yes.
Okay. So then to plot the extra points, you just do the exact same thing. So you're going to rise 1 because our rise is 1, and then you're going to do the run to the right 2. And then I also showed them we could have also gone the other way. So if you go back to your starting point, the y-intercept, your rise, you remember we're matching this line. So instead of going up, you could also go down, but instead of going to the right, you would have to go left 2.
Okay.
And then the last step is we just write slope on the line just to make sure that we graphed a positive slope. If it's supposed to be positive, it's just a little check, which in this case, I have a positive slope and the slope in my equation was positive. So I'm pretty sure I graphed it correctly. And it'll make more sense once we do it. So let's go ahead.
Can you give me 1 second?
Yes. We'll do the graphing linear equations here in just a second. Let me know when you're ready, Dakota.
Okay, I'm good.
Okay, so then go ahead and open up your workbook. Do graphing linear equations.
Phone, I even vote with you. You can do that.
Okay, and it's always just helpful to write y equals mx plus b. We know that m is our slope and b is our y-intercept. And so first we want to graph the y-intercept. So I would just label these first. So this is our slope and this is our y-intercept. So our y-intercept, remember that's where our graph crosses the y-axis.
And they'll never change places, right?
Nope.
Okay.
So the slope's always the number in front of x. So they can switch it on you, but just know that the one that's attached to the x is always the slope. And then the one that's just a number all by itself is the y-intercept.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if they can like switch it around.
They
it'll still
could,
be
they
the same-
can.
So still get the same answer and everything, but just different places.
Yeah, I don't want to confuse you too much, but yeah, like this, we could switch them, right? And we could say it's y equals -2 plus 1/2 x. But just because they switched places doesn't mean it's the 1/2 is still the slope, because the slope is always the number in front of x. And then b is the number that's all by itself. That's always the y-intercept, whatever you add or subtract. So this is the same thing as this, but they just flipped places. Okay, so the y-intercept is -2. So I highlighted my y-axis. I just have to find where -2 is. That's right there. So that's my y-intercept. Any questions how to graph the y-intercept? Okay, and then slope is a +1/2. So I'm going to draw a quick sketch of a positive slope. So remember, I can give that to you at the top too. If it goes up like that, it's positive. If it goes down, it's negative. So we know our rise is 1 and our run is 2. So from this point, we're going to rise 1 and our run is 2. And since it's positive, I'm going to have to go to the right 2 to make it a positive slope. If I went to the left 2, it would be a negative slope. And then I just continue. So from this point, I would do my rise of 1, my run of 2. Rise of 1, run of 2. And the same here. So you want to continue it from the graph. So I would go down 1 and left 2. Down 1, left 2, down 1, left 2. And it should form a perfectly straight line. So they should all line up nicely. And then we just do our little check. We write slope on it to make sure. That's the most common mistake, is graphing like a negative slope when it's supposed to be a positive and vice versa. Any questions on number 1?
Nope.
Okay, so number 2, 4/3, that's our slope. 5 is our y-intercept. Since our slope is positive, again, we have a line that's going up. So we're gonna find 5 on the y-axis, which is right here. Now, our slope is a positive 4/3, so we would like to go up 4, but we can't. Our graph stops. So we're gonna have to go down 4, because our rise is 4, which means I'm gonna have to go to the left 3. 1, 2, 3. And you can mark it if you wanted to, like with the dash lines, 1, 2, 3, 4. You can kind of create your slope triangle, and then you're gonna have to go to the left 1, 2, 3, because we're trying to match this picture, right? So it has to go up from left to right, and then we could do it again, down 1, 2, 3, 4, and left 1, 2, 3. And we write slope. We graphed a positive slope, and it is a positive slope, so that's good. Any questions on number 2?
No.
Okay, let's go to number 3. Y equals 8x minus 3. So again, 8 is our slope. -3 is our y-intercept. Again, we have a positive slope, so our line's going up. So the y-intercept is -3. So make sure you keep that sign with the 3. So we have to go down to -3. There's our first point. And then our slope is 8. So we need a rise and a run. So it's not really just 8, it's 8/1. So you can rewrite the slope. Now you want to have it written as a fraction when you're graphing, so that you have a rise and you have a run. So my rise is 8. So from here, I'm going to go up 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And since it's positive, I need to go to the right 1. And then I just sketch my line. Questions on number 3?
No.
Okay, moving on to number 4. So we have our slope, which is -3/5, and we have 4, which is our y-intercept. So now we finally have a negative slope. So our line's going to be going down. So first we graph our y-intercept at 4. So we find 4 on the y-axis. And then our slope is -3. So we can't go up 3. So we're going to go down 1, 2, 3. And then since our line has to be going down, I'm going to have to go to the right for my run, which is 5. So I'm going to go right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. To match my picture, to make it a negative slope. And then I sketch my line and I write slope to make sure I graphed a negative slope, and I did. Questions on number 4? Okay, number 5. So again, we'll label our slope and our y-intercept. Again, our slope is a negative, so our line is going down. Our y-intercept is 5, so we're going to go up to 5. And then -9/4. So I have to go down 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And to match my picture, I'm going to have to go to the right 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I write slope to make sure I graphed a negative slope, and I did. Okay, and then the last one, if there's not a number written in front of x, it's understood that it's a 1. So remember, 1x is the same thing as x. So you can write in that 1. And so 1 is our slope, and -2 is our y-intercept. And our slope doesn't have a rise and a run, so we can rewrite it as 1 over 1. So our rise is 1 and our run is 1. And it's positive, so our line's gonna go up. So our y-intercept is -2, so we go down to -2. And then our slope is a positive 1 over 1. So I'm gonna go up 1, and to match my picture means I'm gonna have to go right 1. Up 1, right 1. 1, right 1. Up 1, right 1. We can also go down 1 and left 1. Down 1, left 1. And then we just connect the dots. And we write slope to make sure that we graphed a positive slope, and we did. It's going up. So we know we graphed in the right direction. Do you guys feel good about this? So we can keep going if you need help, or we can be done.
I feel good about it.
Good. Yeah, I definitely think you've got it, Dakota. So good. And Solomon and Amari, you guys good?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So before we get off, can you guys take pictures and upload? So you have 6 assignments to upload. We just did 6 assignments in an hour and 15 minutes. So don't worry, you guys don't have to do the second page of them. Just upload everything that we just did.
We take photos of them on our Chromebook, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So go ahead and do that right now.
So do we need to do a second page on our own time?
Nope, since you guys seen the tutoring and I know that you know it, I'm gonna excuse you from the second page.
Okay.